Alright, y'all. Extreme Rules is now over. I know that I was a bit behind compared to everybody else on Twitter, but I'm going to say this. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't. But I'm going to admit that the Ambrose match with the Asylum match went on way too long. But anyway, I guess I should go maybe one by one. Let's talk about the kickoff match. Didn't really care much for that because it was going to be the same type of match, the same pacing, same moves. It really, I mean, I will admit, Baron Corbin pretty much, I mean, he has impressed me throughout the last few weeks, but I didn't really care for this match because it's the match I've seen about 1,000 times. But with Baron Corbin for the win, kind of knew he was going to do that. I'm kind of happy that this whole feud with him is over and Baron Corbin can go forward. I don't know what they're going to do with Dolph, but Dolph, I'm not going to lie, he gets in where he fits in, so I respect him for that. Sorry, y'all, my allergies are going nuts. But anyway, let's talk about the tag team match between the Texas Tornado tag between the club and the Usos. I didn't really care, but I'm glad that the club won because the club have lost to the Usos multiple times, and you want them to look dominant. So I'm kind of happy that they did win. Moving on from there. Sorry about that. Oh, dear. Moving on from there. Okay. The U.S. title match actually was pretty good. It was. It made Rusev look like a dominant beast. He's supposed to be booked as a beast. They did a good job making him look like a beast. And honestly, I'm happy that Kalisto did lose because he really wasn't doing anything for that title. But Rusev will make that title look dominant because he's a very dominant heel. And he's very proud of that belt, so he's going to actually bring more attention to it, and that's what you're supposed to do. So I'm happy that he did win this one. Now, when it comes to the tag team match itself, for the tag team titles between the New Day and the Vaudevillains, I really did not want the New Day to win because the New Day's gimmick is starting to get old and stale. Not to mention the fact that Xavier Woods keep pimping himself out to other chicks, but dude, you just got married. Have a touch of class. Seriously. You know, that crap, some people try to pull that crap off maybe one time, maybe a few times, but he's done that multiple. And honestly, it needs to quit. And it's just stupid. And I thought the Vaudevillains was going to look strong here, but they really didn't throughout the match. In my opinion, the match was kind of one-sided. The New Day looked pretty dominant compared to the Vaudevillains, and the Vaudevillains are the newcomers. So you want to have a fairly balanced match, but it just wasn't here. And I didn't really, I mean, it was a good match. It wasn't a horrible match, but I don't think that the right person won. The New Day should have lost their titles. This is the third time that they're defending it. They've held the belt for a long time, but they've only defended it 3 times. They should have lost it here. And honestly, it would have opened something up for Enzo and Cass when Enzo makes his return, and their feud's going to be turned towards them. Because it looks like the Dudley Boys are about done. For some reason on the kickoff show, they went out there and it started having like somewhat of a promo with Big Cass coming out and then him doing something to the Dudley Boys. Here's my opinion of this. There is a massive amount of frustration going on in the mind of Bubba Ray. And you can tell he's tired of the fact that the Dudley Boys are being kind of set to the side. Since their debut, they haven't been tag team champions. They have been literally jobbing out for every single newcomer there was that's actually made it to the roster. And that's probably something that's pissing them off. And you can tell they're both really pissed off. So I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't a work. I think that was a shoot, at least coming from Bubba Ray. And I think Bubba Ray's just getting sick of it. That's just my opinion. But anyway, a lot of people expected Enzo to make his return. Enzo ain't coming back, not for a while. I mean, that concussion was probably something pretty serious. I wouldn't be surprised if Enzo actually comes back for SummerSlam. In my opinion, it really would have been cool if the Vaudevillains won because it would have started up a feud between Enzo and Cass. But I don't know what they're going to be doing with the Vaudevillains. I hope they're not just going to sit on them. And speaking of sitting on them, the Asylum match. I was looking forward to this match. I really was. because it looked like a match that had the potential to be one of the best. It was slow as molasses. It was boring. The crowd was just done until the very end when we finally got some blood and a little bit of violence from the thumbtacks. Now, I didn't know what was in that bucket. I thought it was like slime or something. But when people saw the black bag, they went off. Like, they started cheering. And that was the one that had the thumbtacks in it. The fact that they finally had Jericho landing the thumbtacks, in my opinion, somewhat saved the match from being a complete travesty. It made it not as bad as 32. At least we got some blood. Not to mention we got some brutality not only from Chris Jericho but also from Dean Ambrose. And I think Dean Ambrose wanted to go further, but he was just restricted because of the stupid PG code. Which means that we're not in a new era, guys. We're still in the PG era. There's nothing new about this era. It's still somewhat in the PG era. Because here's another thing that really got me mad. In the middle of the U.S. title match, why in the world did the ref try to stop Rusev from going after Kalisto? This is Extreme Rules. The only time that you go and check somebody is if they ain't moving. He was still moving. You keep your butt back there and you keep an eye on Rusev and make sure the match goes as it's supposed to go. Because I don't think these refs got the idea what Extreme Rules mean. And I guess maybe they were told something different behind the scenes. But in the very end, you don't do nothing. You sit back there and you watch them fight. That's what you're supposed to do. I was screaming at my TV when I saw the ref do that. It's bad enough they did that with Samoa Joe. They're going to do that with the U.S. title. Ain't cutting it. Now move on to what I consider to be the match of the night. The Fatal 4-Way with The Miz, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. In my opinion, it would have been a lot more heat if Sami Zayn actually had the belt. Somebody mentioned that, or one of the shows I actually watched, one of the prediction shows I watched, they were like, more heat would be on Sami Zayn. More heat would be between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens if Sami Zayn won. But the thing is that that whole match was all about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, starting in the beginning, in my opinion. And because at first it was all about that you got the Miz knocked out, you got Kevin Owens knocked out, and then you end up having Sami Zayn and Cesaro going at it. It was a good match all around. Good pace, great chemistry between everybody. Everybody had their chance to shine. Nobody was outdone by anybody. It was awesome. It was done in the Miz fashion when he just went in and took the win, which is something I really I wish didn't happen, but it's typical Miz. He came in there, saw an opportunity, and took it. And Sami Zayn got too caught up in Kevin Owens to where he ended up missing his opportunity. I'm hoping that it doesn't necessarily end with Sami Zayn because people want to see Sami Zayn win. And honestly, it would have been the biggest pop of the night if he did. I like Cesaro. I would have liked to see him win, but I was rooting for Sami a lot more than Cesaro. But unfortunately, The Miz ended up stealing a win. But I don't think that the feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is done. I don't know what they're going to do with Cesaro here. Maybe possibly get a rematch. Who knows? But it was a great match. It was literally the main event of the night, in my opinion. It was. I enjoyed it. Now, with the Asylum match, I've already talked about that. At least they had a chance to use the nunchucks. Made me very happy with the use of nunchucks and the kendo stick. I kind of knew they weren't going to use Barbie. There was no point putting it up there. But like I said, at least we saw blood. Now, moving on to the women's title. The women's title wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be. It just wasn't. I knew that there was going to be a mystery person coming out. And I knew it wasn't going to be Flair because that's how Flair plays. Like, they're the dirtiest players in the game. So I knew that they were going to have somebody go out in Flair's place to be a distraction and to cause Charlotte to actually keep the title. I never really thought it was going to be Dana Brooke because I thought Dana Brooke was feuding with Becky Lynch. But I guess maybe they kind of changed their mind with that. And now she's flirting with Charlotte. So it's kind of weird. They changed their mind within a few weeks. Actually, less than a few weeks. A few days. So now we got Dana Brooke being the number 2 heel in the women's division. And she's actually aligning herself with Charlotte. which means that if she's going to be feuding with Natalya, I have no idea where it's going to go from here. And the fact they chose Dana Brooke, I guess that's cool because they had to figure out something to do with her. They brought her up with the main roster to be with Emma. Emma got injured. They had to find something to do with her. So, okay, I guess I'm alright with it. But honestly, it would have been nice if Charlotte won clean because it would have made her get rid of Rick and have her stand on her own. But maybe that's going to be down the line towards SummerSlam. But anyway, let's move on to the main event of the night. Wow. All I can say is that I was so completely drained from the Ambrose Asylum match that I was just completely tapped out to care. But I at least stayed up long enough to see at least the beginning part of the match. And I'm not going to lie, AJ Styles let it all out. And once again, AJ Styles really did make Roman Reigns look strong here. But the thing is that when it comes to AJ Styles is a phenomenal performer. He will make a person look good as well as making himself look good in the match itself. His pace was so quick he had to have Roman Reigns try to keep up with him. And that's good. I'm glad that Roman Reigns is trying to adjust to his opponent in the ring. So that shows that Roman Reigns is starting to get better at what he's doing. But the thing about it is that the match was... I didn't necessarily like the fact that Roman won, but the ending itself really did justify his winning. Now, when it came to the Usos interfering, as well as the club interfering, you kind of knew that was going to happen. But AJ Styles took him to the limit. He literally took Roman Reigns to the limit. He actually encouraged Roman Reigns to keep up with him. It was a pretty good match. I actually am surprised at how good this main event was. And especially the ending, the return of Seth Rollins. Seeing how Seth Rollins literally took down Roman Reigns shows me that there's going to be a feud between the both of them. I'm hoping that that'll be the case. And more than likely, if Roman Reigns drops the belt, it's going to be to Seth. And I'll be fine with having Seth be the winner. But it was a great ending, as well as a pretty decent match and a very hardcore one because AJ was not playing. He was not playing. And I'm happy that Roman is starting to adjust on how to balance a match. He's starting to really learn now. And I think that he's going to get better as time goes on. So honestly, the main event really did kind of impress me. I thought it was going to be a dud, but it really wasn't that bad. I actually did enjoy it a bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Ambrose match did drain me, but looking at the beginning of the match as well as towards the end, because I did fall asleep in the middle, and it was just because I was tired. What I caught was great. I enjoyed that. I'm probably going to go back and rewatch that. But other than that, guys, I'm going to say this. This was a pretty solid pay-per-view. A pretty decent pay-per-view. We had the most amazing Fatal 4-Way I ever seen. The women's title, unfortunately, was kind of meh. As well as the Ambrose match. Towards the end is what saved it. Not really the match itself. It was just flat out boring. But the other matches really did make the winners look great. I'm happy that Rusev won. The right man won. I'm happy that Baron Corbin won because it's over. Hopefully it's over. And the match between the club and the Usos, meh. I didn't really care much for that match either. But the IC match by far was definitely the main event of the night. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts. What were your thoughts on Extreme Rules? How do you personally view it? Because honestly, I think it was a pretty solid pay-per-view. That's just my opinion. But I want to hear yours. Naturegirl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. Later.